Texas is far from Gaza, but the information war reaches all the way here. While our soldiers fight with courage, another battlefield decides what the world believes about Israel on television, screens, phones, and feeds. Documents captured in Gaza show Hamas feeding Al Jazeera exact scripts and even opening a secure Al Jazeera phone to coordinate coverage in real time. At the same time, scandals are shaking the BBC and major United States network over editing and one-sided reporting the situation. So we are flying to Texas to meet believers who love Israel and want clarity and the truth. I'm Yair Pinto, and I'm traveling with the one and only Mati Shoshani, and you're watching Boots on the Ground. If you like what we're doing and want to support us in sharing the truth, please subscribe so that you never miss another episode of Boots on the Ground. So, as you can see, about to board the plane to the United States of America. We're heading towards Dallas, Texas for the firm annual conference to talk about what's happening in Israel, to share the information, boots on the ground style. So we start the journey of about,
20-something hours.
Yeah, to get to Texas. So we're now in the airport at Dallas International Airport, or Fort Worth, or something like that.
DFW.
DFW, yeah. Everything is big in Texas. The security really liked my Hamas sucks stickers. He said it's really blunt, guy. I think I'll take that as a compliment.
I'm sure it was a compliment, yeah.
I said, I told him it's true. So I guess this is something that you need to start doing. And today we're gonna go, what it's called, skeet shooting. Okay, skeet shooting means that we're gonna use shotguns to shoot some flying plates here in Texas. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, who won this competition? Hey.
Yeah, I put on my tactical pants. Let me show you this. Oh, yeah.
All the way movement.
Put on my tactical pants, because we're going shooting today.
This is the one and only Pniel Zuela from Canada.
And Israel.
And Israel. Yalla, Mati.
So I'm going to avoid filming the way Yair drives, so he can maintain his license.
Usually I drive while looking at the camera.
We've been here connecting with a lot of people at the Firm Israel Summit, a lot of people who came from Israel, a lot of people who care about what's happening in Israel on a very, very deep level. And it is such a blessing to see the level of care and interest that people in this part of the world, I call Dallas Christian Mecca, how much they have for the state of Israel, for what's happening in Israel, and for what God does in Israel.
Nature that they have over here in Texas.
First things first, get those waivers, okay? If you've already knocked it out, feel free to grab a seat.
Okay, Mati's now signing a waiver for his life, giving all his assets to me in case he dies.
It says shoot at Yair first on
Yes.
First time at the club, first time shooting, or first time just figuring it all out. This video.
This is what firing ranges look like in Texas.
Okay,
Let's see it.
Gun. Okay, so somebody who's pulling. I did.
Yeah.
Okay, pair, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Pull. Ah! Ah!
Did I get it? There we go.
Oh. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a tough one.
Oh, it's fun. It's very stress relieving. So if you have a hard day at work,
Grab a shotgun.
And you shoot a little bit.
Yeah. But important to separate the shooting from the workplace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mati and I did not make it to the first place, second place, or third place, but we had lots of fun. Finished all the bullets, and that's what counts. I remember when this war started, and 7 fronts launched attacks against Israel, and at the same time, the media turned against us, spreading lies about what happened here. At that moment, Our team and us, we knew we had to report from the ground and share the truth of what's happening so that people will know how to pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Yeah, and this is a moment where we thank you guys at home for helping us at yet another year of victory. Victory in bringing the truth from this land to people around the world. This Giving Tuesday, don't forget to support the work of TBN Israel and make sure we continue to bring the truth from this land straight to you.
You can choose your partnership level from $25, $75, or you can donate $200 per month to stay connected with what's happening in Israel. So I'm in the car now, driving to a conference in Texas, in the United States of America. Together with me is the one and only Mati Shoshani.
Hey,
Mati,
guys.
what's up?
I'm going to keep my eyes on the road. I'm doing well. It's been quite a trip to get here to Texas. First thing I can tell you off the bat is there seem to be more Israeli flags in Texas than there are in Israel.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to spending our time here.
So guys, please stay with us through this episode, understand what's happening in Israel as we're gonna ask and answer the hard questions in this conference. I'm gonna ask Mati the hard questions, he's gonna ask me the hard questions, and then we're gonna open it to the audience so that they can have an option to ask from the heart what's happening in Israel and how all of this is unfolding. So this is what it's all about. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hope you enjoy our conference in Texas. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about our Q&A?
Welcome everyone to the Voices from Israel Forum. So the purpose of this forum today, this time that we're going to take together, is to give you guys a real insight about what's going on in Israel. The first panel with Mati Shoshani and Yair Pinto is going to talk about the geopolitical state in Israel and what's actually happening on the ground. Together, Mati and Yair host a daily program on the TBN Israel YouTube channel called Boots on the Ground, with a reach of over 1.6 million people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mati Shoshani and Yair Pinto.
So thank you for this very mellow introduction to us. And I have to say that I'm really pumped up and happy to be here with all of you. As we are sharing the geopolitical situation in Israel, I want you guys to look at it from a biblical perspective, to look at what God is doing in Israel. This is not just politics or news. This is biblical prophecy that is unveiling now in front of our eyes.
It takes three things to understand reality, the world that we're living in. Read the scripture, know what God says, follow the news, follow current events, so know what's happening outside, and pray about it and live a contemplative spiritual life. With those three things, you're going to be set up to be successful in understanding how the world works and how you're supposed to feel, pray, and think about all of that. So let's get started.
So first question, Mati. So the United States and Israel fought a 12-day war against the Islamic Republic of Iran with dropping B-2 bombers in the nuclear facilities of Iran. But now we are hearing more reports of the Ayatollah regime threatening Israel, threatening the United States of America, rearming. So what's happening in Iran?
Okay, so this is a question we get a lot, and it's really complicated because the Iranians were beat, but they're still not gone. First of all, what Israel and the United States did back in June was a unique event in history, definitely modern warfare history. The Israeli Air Force dominated the Iranian airspace, and in a blitz operation, we used intelligence and special forces and technology to really penetrate deep into their defenses. And then the United States, specifically Air Force, with the B-2 bombers that Trump loves so much, and the Moab, the massive ordnance penetrator bombs, together with that, or as people like calling them, the mother of all bombs, we blew a hole, literally and figuratively speaking, into the defenses of the Iranian regime. We were flying bombing missions over the skies of Tehran and different cities in the country. We blew up all the major nuclear facilities, or at least disabled them completely. We eliminated dozens of people that are in the leadership of the political, the religious, the military, and Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, eliminated them from the playing game, and those people are no longer able to fight against Israel. But if anyone expected that that would be enough for the Iranian regime, a dictatorial, extremist, radicalized Islamic regime, for them to say, sorry guys, we were wrong about the whole hate thing, and we're now going to start loving other people, that's ridiculous. So a year ago, the Iranian regime had its octopus's arms all over the Middle East. 2 years ago, they were a force that we feared in a dramatic way. And my question to you is how much has the effect of the Iranian regime as the exporter of terrorism and violence and evil in the world, how much has it been diminished, and where are they going? What's going to happen with them in the near future?
Mati, so we have to set the stage for this, because before this war started, and even for dozens of years, you and I were training against a response by the Hezbollah terrorist organization from Lebanon that would have been in the amount of 3,000 rockets and missiles and drones every single day against the Israeli communities for a period of time of a year or more than that. And that's only one of the proxies that Iran had in the Middle East. On top of that, they had militias in Iraq. They were basically controlling Syria, using it to launch more attacks against Israel, and also in the Houthis in Yemen. They were equipping them with ballistic missiles when the majority of the Yemenite people do not have enough food or shoes to wear during this war, but they were launching rockets at us. So that was the scenario in the get-go before this war started. But now, after 2 years of fighting against these terrorist regimes and the proxies, Hezbollah in the north has been diminished. It's not defeated, it's severely diminished, and at the moment they are trying to look for their weapons. So the IDF has 5 outposts, and we visited them inside Lebanon underground, making sure that Hezbollah does not regroup, does not find its weapons, and does not pose a threat to the northern communities of Israel. Other fronts, it's also at the moment more relaxed than what it was before, but it seems like Iran is investing more money in more terror proxies, like in the Houthis in Yemen, and also in militias in Africa now, to have another launching pads of rockets against Israel. Okay, so this is the situation, but it sounds kind of negative, but in the positive side is that we've proven that we have the defensive capabilities to intercept all these missiles from the Yemen, Houthis in Yemen, from Iran, from Hezbollah, and Israel has never been stronger and more prepared in the defensive level. Okay, so we also invented new technologies like the laser beam. Did you hear about this laser beam system? It's pretty cool, right? So instead of investing $50,000 against launching and intercepting a missile, you are now investing $5, kind of like charging your iPhone and frying the missile in the middle of the air, okay? So Israel has defeated the proxies of Iran, but we cannot sleep because they're rebuilding. So that's the situation with the proxies of Iran, and we need to monitor it, and we need to be aware that they're not going away. Okay, Mati, question to you, and now we're going all the way to the Gaza Strip. This has been the major issue of this war for 2 years. We had news in the past few weeks about 200 Hamas terrorists stuck in the tunnels on the Israeli side of the yellow line under the IDF control, and the world is calling on us to give them amnesty. Why not? Let them go free back to the Gaza side. So what's happening with the ceasefire, and are we going to go to stage B of this agreement?
We're living in a really complex time when it comes to the Hamas regime in the Gaza Strip. So let me make it simple. Phase 1 of the agreement, this is part of the Trump 20-point plan, which used to be the 21-point plan. Phase 1 is hostages in exchange for ceasefire and the return of Hamas terrorists to the Gaza Strip and in part to Judea and Samaria. That already happened almost completely. We're waiting on one last murdered hostage, I believe, and There's a couple more small inches that have to happen over there. But the phase 2 is the complex part. Phase 2 is replacing Hamas in the Gaza Strip. That is not an easy feat. It talks about the Trump plan says the next phase is building an international force that replaces Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Who's doing that? Well, in southern Israel, in a city called Kiryat Gat, we have a whole lot of American generals and a whole lot of Emirati generals and a whole lot of a whole bunch of other countries that have all come with a purpose of building a force that does civil, then humanitarian, and then military operations on the ground in the Gaza Strip. None of them yet have committed to fighting actively or directly against Hamas, which is a really big problem. Currently, the IDF is the only one doing that. But ultimately, the hope is, one way or another, to squeeze them out, to weaken them enough, to pressure them enough from the outside that they're moved out. And then with time being 5 years, 7 years, we have a new civil government in the Gaza Strip. We're rebuilding the Gaza Strip, and we're doing so without Hamas.
Hamas is now in control of the Palestinian side of the Gaza Strip. So what are they doing with this control?
Well, they're doing the usual thing. I mean, what is Hamas? Hamas is not a government that builds bridges. They're not a government that, that does anything positive for its population. It kills and maims. It was doing so immediately when it came back to power, shooting its own people in the streets for various claims of collaborating with the Israelis or being affiliated with one of the many factions that is opposed to their destructive power in the Gaza Strip. And the list goes on. They're stealing the goods. They're taxing people that are trading within the Gaza Strip. They're a force of death and destruction. They've always been that way, and they'll always continue to be that way. Yair, I have a question for you. Where are we going to be in 12 months? Where are we going to be in 24 months with our northern neighbors? Lebanon, Syria.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
It's very exciting stuff going to happen because, first of all, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So I like to think positively about the situation. And in the Middle East, peace is made with a strong side. And Israel has proved in the last 2 years that we are stronger than the enemies, and we are reshaping this region. It's just amazing. So at the moment, we have troops that are defending Israel on the Syrian demilitarization side, so not far from Damascus, controlling strategic locations. We have troops in Lebanon, and the security establishment of Israel is in relationship with the United States and with the government of Lebanon together to try and disarm Hezbollah. That's amazing because once you don't have the Iranian influence of Hezbollah in Lebanon, you can start having cooperation and even potentially joining of Lebanon into the Abraham Accords, which will open diplomatic relations with Israel. In the beginning, it's going to be on a security level, but then potentially later on the economic level. And then maybe soon we'll have peace with Lebanon. I'm talking and throwing big words, but this is the direction that everything is heading towards. And then looking at Syria, we are at a very, very interesting situation because on the one hand, this country has been hit by many, many years of civil war, hundreds of thousands of casualties just since the Assad regime fell down now. And at the moment, the leader, El-Julani or Ashara, the leader of Syria, who was the #1 or top list of the US most wanted terrorist with a $10 million bounty on his head, if you didn't know, just had lunch with Donald Trump in the White House, and they, talked about the future. So he's saying some very good stuff related to Israel, in English at least. But in Arabic, it's a completely different thing. Of course, we'll get back our land, we'll get back the Golan Heights, but it seems like with the right pressure, especially of the United States, we can also have a cooperation agreement on the security level and maybe on the economic level with Syria. Meaning, if we have these countries with us, we have agreements, security agreements with all of our borders, if I'm not missing any border, right? Except for Gaza. Which is on the way also. So this is the situation. I would say pray for it. Pray for wisdom to your leaders. Pray for wisdom to our leaders and to the Syrian and Lebanese leaders. Okay, this can happen. Okay, so now this is a very, very big question, an important question. The United States is now talking about building a military base in Israel and then another one also in Syria. Throughout the years, at least in the past, I don't know, 20 years or even more, the United States have been invested billions and billions of dollars in the Israeli security establishment. Do you think that that's money that is well invested? Why should Americans invest in Israel? And what is Israel doing with this money?
We're absolutely thankful to the Americans supporting, I want to call it the war effort. It sounds like something from World War II.
Yeah.
But being an ally of Israel, it means the world in the most literal way possible. Very, very supportive of that. I want to say this. People criticize the U.S.-Israeli relationship because they don't understand the nature of the U.S.-Israeli relationship. And I'll start close to home. The fact that businesses in Dallas, Texas are thriving, the fact that gasoline is cheap in this part of the world, the fact that when you look at the tariff plans and U.S. commerce deals and American companies exporting technology to other countries in the world, that is tied at the umbilical cord to the Israeli relationship and Israeli-American cooperation in the Middle East. Why is that? Because economy and strength is not just a question of internal policies, it's a question of projection of power in an external sense. And what we're watching around the world right now is a massive, historical, let's say the biggest in the last 30 years or so, shuffling of power since the fall of the Soviet Union in the world. And we're looking at a Middle East that has a weakened Iran, where the United States, together with its other allies, Israel at the top of that list, is rebuilding its strength and its position in that region. So the deals that come with Saudi, the deals that come with the Emiratis, the deals that come with the Qataris, the cheap oil that flows around the world, the natural gas that stabilizes the economies of Europe, all of that is tied in to the fact that Israel and the United States can fight together in the Middle East. But it goes deeper than that. Israel and the United States are ideological partners and spiritual partners in the way we operate in the world. It's not just about money, it's not just about power, although both of those are very important for the stability of countries. It's on a spiritual level. If you ask yourself the question, and I think a lot of us have been since October 2023, who's the good guys in the world and who are the bad guys in the world? Well, we're on the side of the good guys. And the good guys sometimes have to fight against the bad guys in every possible arena, be it economics and be it geopolitical pressure, be it trade wars, and be it boots on the ground or jets in the sky or B-2 bombers in the sky. It all intertwines, and we are allies in the deepest way possible. When it comes to kinship and the understanding of our place in the world, when it comes to fighting for Judeo-Christian values, when it comes to rebuilding the stability of the Middle East and breaking the vicious cycle that Iran implemented in the Middle East. The United States, together with Israel, together with a bunch of other partners, saying we can do something better instead of a vicious cycle, a virtuous cycle. And it goes deeper than that. What that does when Israel works together with the United States, Israel's bombing in Iran using American jet fighters with American bombs. And when that happens, everyone else around the world says, those are the jet fighters we want to buy. Those are the bombs we want to buy. That is the army we want to align with. And what that allows is it weakens the evil forces, and I don't say this lightly, and it strengthens those who want to do good in the world. And there's a lot more we can say about this topic, but that is a key part of it.
Well, let me add just a basic few things. When America is giving support to Israel, financial support, Israel has to use this support to buy from American companies. So the money goes back into the American economy. Okay, I hope all of you know that. So this is very important. There's no free lunch, no free money that goes to Israel. Support goes to Israel, but Israel must spend it using American companies, so it helps the US economy at the same time. It's basically a testing field also for their military technologicals and for their defense systems. So from the laser beams, from the Iron Dome defensive systems, from Israeli high-tech that is related to the aircrafts, everything goes back and is shared with the United States of America, including how to fight in tunnels now that we've become very, very good at in the Gaza Strip. Now all this knowledge is being shared with the United States of America. And that's the reason why they're bringing their troops to Israel to learn and to cooperate. And we are together in this. This is the clearest thing that there is. We are together, and this is a war between good and evil.
In the past 2 years, if we look at the stack of evil or the stack of challenges, the stack of evil players in the Middle East, there have been, I'm trying to think how many it is. Let's say we're in the hundreds of millions of people that are far less affected
by evil at this point. You have the Syrian people that have the removal of dictatorship and the possibility of a government. The Lebanese people that after 40 plus years of instability and civil war now have a chance at government without Hezbollah effect. You have Israel that lives without the threat of the Iranians. You have the Iranian people that see the chance of something different for the first time in decades. You have the Egyptians that have less to fear of the Muslim Brotherhood, and the list goes on and on and on. So the trend is overwhelmingly positive. I don't say this lightly, overwhelmingly positive, and we can sleep better at night knowing that the fight that we've been fighting, the prayers that we've been praying, the investment that Israel, the United States, and others have made in reshaping the Middle East, it's bearing fruit.
Thanks, guys.
So guys, remember, when Joshua crossed the Jordan, God said, be strong and be courageous. Not because that everything was easy, but because obedience comes before the victory. We need to trust in God. So in our time, courage means fighting terror and standing against lies. This is where we're living. There are many people around the world that care about the truth, that want to know what's happening in Israel for real, because they believe that God has a plan for this nation at this time. And God is using the Jewish people of Israel to do amazing things, to show the world that He is still performing biblical level miracles today. Remember that this is a spiritual war, and how do you fight a spiritual war? You pray. Let's unite in prayer for the truth to be heard everywhere, for people to hear it, understand it, and act. Let's pray for wisdom to our leaders, to your leaders. Let's pray for wisdom for the Palestinian people, for the people of Iran, to have a better leadership. Let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Thank you for joining us here, this time in Texas, but mostly in Jerusalem, because we are one body and we need to stand together against lies.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.